Away we go. We are live.
Hey everybody. It is January 28th, 2016. That's ThorTV.
That's me. That's this guy right here. Boom.
And my name's not, I'm Loki Hates You guys. So,
I'm
cool.
Loki Hates You guys.
I'm how Loki Hates You guys, seriously.
I'm Loki Hates You guys. Seriously. For
So,
reals.
here we are. We're feeling good. We got a couple questions to answer. It's been a couple days since Cosliceum. We've been trying to keep up with posting whichever dub smashes we took over the few days we had this weekend. And things are honestly back on the downswing again as far as putting out content, but we're trying to keep it lively looking, keep everyone in content. Who do we have here? Hi Joanna, hi Susanna, hi Kristen, hi Pointless Dragon, hey Pam, hey Andrada, hey Helen, hey Kat, hey Carol, hi Rose, hi Amada. Glad to see everybody here.
I guess it would help if I actually get into the chat and see what's going on. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's a thing. I'm gonna post a quick link while we're messing around on the YouTube. Let's see. Right, going to Facebook.
Okay, chat. Pop out chat. And there's people in this chat. Yay! Okay, now I can see all of you. Kind of. I mean, I can see the words that you type. So, that's a thing.
All right, publish that. And I'm going to do some video. Taking your questions now! Exclamation post. Cool. All right, so we're back on track. How was your trip home?
Long, boring. Yeah. There's nothing great about riding a bus. I sat in the very back because I wanted like the three seats in the back to lay across so I can sleep since we had to get up at 5 a.m. that day.
Yeah.
The only problem is that my nose was violated so badly from that because you're right next to a bathroom.
Yeah.
And whoever was in there prior, like a bus ride or two before us, made it bad. Unless they just haven't changed it in like a week.
It's a possibility. I'm sure Greyhound is cutting every corner it can to save money. So they don't need to unload those tanks very often. I'm sure.
And then the whole baggage thing was a nightmare. Like that lady was a real stickler for the rules on that bag. It was oversized, apparently. I didn't even know that the buses and the train had an oversized limit. I know planes do. That makes a lot more sense. But I didn't know trains and buses do.
Yeah, my assumption was that if there's a suitcase that's pre-made, it's not like a specially made suitcase that's meant to be large. Like, that was just a suitcase that we bought. I was under the assumption that it would fit. It would fit its parameters.
It's too big. Like the one that you have would be just the right size where it's not considered oversized.
Yeah. Damn shame about that.
Should have got the other one. There was one like right next to it.
The brown one there.
It was the same size.
Well, whichever airline you're flying, check to see what the whichever airline you're flying next, check to see what their baggage limitations are, because it may still be okay if you're not flying coach.
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, that might work out for that.
Come on, man. right, hold on.
kind of travel system? Teleportation? Or are we going realistic here? I
Yeah,
hate traveling. That is the worst thing in the world for me. It doesn't matter, bus, train, flying. Um, Unless like a cruise ship, that's kind of cool because then you want it to take time. Like,
short of teleporting, which I think is everyone's ideal uh, kind of fantasy traveling situation, I would like to have personalized catapults where you just step into like a pod and then this like trebuchet just like launches you to your destination and then like a basically there would be these giant ice cream scoops everywhere and they would constantly be like hurling
it's
just
like robots
yeah yeah
with
like that just
yeah.
be getting fired off everywhere and they would shoot you and they would catch you and you wouldn't own the pods like they would just be constantly a magazine of like 40 of them every like just towers of like these pods that you could step into, get fired over to the next place, get fired over to the next place, and you could travel across country that way. But like the further you'd go, the faster they'd go. So like you do like Mach 6 across the country and get like from
Jesus.
California to Boston in an hour and a half. Uh, because hopefully the things you'd be in would like kind of compensate for the G-force. I think that would be a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, because that wouldn't end badly ever.
I'm sure. I mean, obviously, we got the internet. We can calculate trajectories. We can calculate windage. We can calculate all these different things, and I'm sure the amount of like half-ton metal spheres that would come crashing into the earth.
You could calculate all you want, but to shoot something like halfway across the world and expect it to land exactly where it's supposed to land is pretty much impossible.
It would be perfect, though.
Yeah, if it would work.
It would.
Sure.
I mean, the way I'm imagining it, nothing would ever go wrong. So
Right. No, it would be just like in the movie Robots.
yeah, it would just be like balls flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Flipping upside down.
Balls. uh, would you guys ever come to London Film and Comic Con? Beggy? Or Peggy? I got a little smudge on it. No, that's Beggy.
Beggy.
Beggy,
Yep.
we would love to if they invite us. However, it doesn't seem like they. I think I've actually contacted London Film and Comic Con, and they don't invite guests. At least not like outside of like big guests of honor. So it's probably not going to happen. We want to, but we don't have the budget. Same thing with OzCon, Rose. I don't even know where OzCon is or AwesomeCon. All
Jeez.
these cons that you want us to go to, we need them to sponsor us. We cannot be flying to every state in the union, every country in the world to appear at conventions. It's very expensive.
Basically, what we're trying to say is we po folk.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're trying to save our own money from whatever we do make, and
Well, that's you. I'm poor.
yeah. I mean,
Bill's filthy rich. Like,
I'm struggling to hold on to whatever savings I can, and Thor is flatlined.
Thor. I'm a poor Thor.
Yeah. Pam, I will be at Dragon Con if all goes according to plan, though. So, Pam is one of the only people who I will. Oh, OzCon is in Australia in July. Yeah, Rose, doubtful. Like I said, we want to go to all these places, but without help on the budget stuff, just not going to happen. So
we need some big time sponsors.
yeah, we would need a lot of capital coming in just to waste on plane tickets and hotel rooms and that sort of thing.
Maybe we can get sponsored by Starbucks.
What do we have to do with Starbucks?
We could
Be
be
better off
sponsored by them.
We'd be better off sponsored by ball bags.
Ball bags.
Yeah.
And Under Armour. Ball bags and Under Armour.
Well, Under Armour's probably got some slightly more high-profile sponsors. What with them having access to every athlete that's ever, played a professional sport. But I feel like ball bags is a nice place to start. Hey, Queen, Jenny, Mermaid. All right, let's talk about these questions that we got. La 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 la. What kind of questions do we have here? Mighty Thundering Lord on Tumblr asks, what would be your personal version of heaven and hell? So what's your personal heaven and what's your personal hell?
Maybe I would just flip them around. Like, hell is paradise and heaven is hell.
What are you talking about? That's not what I'm asking.
What?
What would happen in heaven if you went to heaven?
That's what I'm saying. Like hell would be the cool place where all the cool kids hang out, and that's where you want to be. And like it takes effort to get to hell, and it's just party all the time.
So you're
and
bad.
Heaven is where all the old people go.
I don't think you're grasping the nature of this question.
Probably not. I just, because I don't think about this stuff, and I have no actual input for it, and I'm just throwing shit out right now.
I think heaven would feel like restful sleep. Heaven would feel like the spiritual satisfaction of being well fed, well rested, and somehow at ease with one's own accomplishments. So like it would be a state of bliss in that there would be no concern for anything anymore.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be already?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to take what it should be and sort of really paint a picture of
gold.
It. No, there's no literal. I don't think heaven would be a literal thing. I mean, if you're just talking about living a perfect life and calling it a metaphorical heaven, then it would probably just be something along the lines of living somewhere where there's no expectation of anything and being able to pursue whichever goals I see fit. Hell, however, I think would just be... I think hell is literally sickness. Hell is just... like, people are living with hell. People with chronic pain, people with incurable mental disorders and physical problems, people who are quadriplegic, paraplegic, people who are unable to help themselves and unable to heal. I think that is literally the earthly embodiment of hell. However, I think the spiritual embodiment of hell is more along the lines of having a feeling of almost being embarrassed. Like, imagine the times in your life when you've been supremely like embarrassed and ashamed of yourself, and that's what I think hell is meant to feel like. Is that time when you opened your mouth and you did something and you immediately regret it. And you just felt like that forever. That like really hot-faced like shame.
Yeah. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
I get that. I can roll with that. I still think, party. Booze.
Mina's like, that's bullshit. Heaven doesn't exist. Neither does hell. we're indulging a question. If you don't believe in heaven or hell, or obviously there's no proof of either, certainly run with that. We're not trying to force any belief systems on anybody. We're just trying to answer a rhetorical question. So,
Yep. That's why I don't really have an input too much for it.
yeah, I mean, it's a tough question to answer because it's like there's so many ways to suffer and there's so many ways to feel good, I guess. So it's tough. 3 times a year. Okay. Moving along.
Endless waffles. All right, I can go with that. Heaven would be endless waffles.
I think I'd get sick of waffles.
You wouldn't even eat any waffles the other day. Did you? Oh, no, you did.
I had 3 of those little ones.
Yeah, I had 2 giant ones.
Yeah.
Could have had more.
Little Womanly One on Tumblr asks, what's the most fun you've had this week? What do you think about that? I wanted to have been something at the con. Most fun, let's see, since last Thursday.
I think for me was hanging out with Agents of Chaos.
Yeah?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
I feel like you spent a lot more time with them than I did. I kind of went in my own direction at night.
Yep, I did.
My lady Zuzia, we have no current plans to go to Europe, nor do we think that there's any imminent plans of us getting invited to Europe. So, should the funding come through and the demand be there for us coming to Europe, we'll be glad to show up. But until that day, no Europe plans. Let me think. Most fun I had this past week. I got to play a little Left 4 Dead last night. That was fun. Been watching Parks and Recreation. That's been a fun show to watch. I don't know. This has been a very fun week for me. Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah. You know what? I think Kat's right. The most fun I had was actually waiting in line for dinner.
Yeah.
Time. We went to a delicious barbecue place in San Diego called Phil's Barbecue, and we were just having a good time waiting in line. Our buddy John was there. Bread every day. Okay, Parks and Rec. No, did any of you get caught in the blizzards? No, there was no blizzard here.
You know we're in California, right?
Yeah, there were no blizzards. We're very far away from blizzards. Okay. Next up, Little Womanly One. The next 9 questions are going to be from Little Womanly One as well.
9 questions?
9 questions. Number 2, what subject would you most like to study?
Acting. Is that a subject?
It's a subject. Well, I guess it would be theater arts, drama. Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, let's narrow it down. What focus would you have? Would you want to do dramatic acting, comedic acting, improvisational acting?
I cannot do improv at all.
You do improv all the time.
What are you talking about?
Whenever we're on stage, you have to come up with something on the spot. That's improv.
Yeah, and you do a great job at that. I do not.
You should do it though. You shouldn't say you can't do it. You should just say,
okay,
you haven't practiced this. I mean, because it's just something you practice.
All right, let's just say I suck at improv.
Well,
we'll say that.
You get better every time. I think I would want to do either writing. I think I'd want to do writing.
You're good at writing.
Yeah, I want to do a lot more storytelling. Get more structure to storytelling. because I find that when I write, I oftentimes I like to write how I talk, and I speak in really long sentences, and that's bad for writing. So I think that would be my first choice, and then after that, maybe I kind of like to study some sort of medicine.
Really?
Yeah, like some sort of chemical biology or something like that. Something that has to do with actually making chemicals into something that interacts with the human body, like pharmacy, um, stuff like that. Because like, how cool would it be to like actually understand how drugs interact with the body and like what happens when you take a painkiller, what happens when you take a anti-inflammatory or a steroid or something. I just think it would be really cool.
I'm gonna have to take painkillers
Oh,
for my
man.
first time. I already told you about that, right? About all
Well, yeah.
the cutting and drilling into my face. It's gonna be fun. Fun
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, dental surgery is never fun. Dita Fontis, the closest thing you're going to find to my writing is on my Tumblr. Um, there's no real story. People keep asking, "Oh, where are all your stories?" And it's like, well, that's why I want to take writing classes so I can be motivated to write more stories or whatever. But you're not going to find anything from me online. Um,
I got a couple
Risa,
scripts here on my computer that you've written.
yeah, Risa, improv is not easy. Let's not fool ourselves. Improv is a very nuanced art that's hard to get right, especially if you're not in the right company.
It's hard for a lot of people. Like, I've seen a lot of improv, and a lot of people don't do a very good job at it. You do good at it.
Well, I also think that as far as group improv goes, like, I'm not very good with handing someone else the ball to run with. Like, I'm more doing crowd work half the time as like I write a bit, training me in script writing. Okay, all right. Yeah, like I'm more of a stand up who's doing crowd work than an improv comedian in the classical sense who can work with a group and be ready to partake in a game with several other people. But I love hearing about it. I've actually, I mean, you know me in podcasts. Like,
Yeah.
Steven hates that I listen to podcasts because it's very boring for him. And I'm very, very interested in hearing improv actors and comedians talk about their.
I'll have you know that I listened to my very first podcast all the way through, hour and a half long, on my train ride home the other day.
What'd you listen to?
I listened to The Nerdist, and they had their latest episode had David to however you say his name, and talking
David
about
Duchovny.
talking about X-Files. Since they just started that back up,
How was it?
it's pretty good. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I listened to it. I can kind of get into some of the things you listen to. Some of it was funny. There was that one guy that we were listening to at like 5 in the morning where I wanted to stab him.
Oh, yeah. So Steven doesn't like This American Life.
Is
Um,
that what that is?
yeah, and their stories go anywhere from being like kind of those quirky. We were listening to more of a stupid, quirky story, but they can have really serious stories as well about like, poverty and social issues and stuff like that. But yeah, This American Life, not up your alley. Um,
It went nowhere. It was just for me. It was just a bunch of words jumbled together that went absolutely nowhere.
oh, that might have also been Paul F. Tompkins, the Spontanea Nation improv show. And the funny thing was, we listened to that for probably 45 minutes, and they hadn't gotten to the show yet. That was all the introduction to the show.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a long, very rambling show. Um,
That's what they did with the Nerdist thing. When I was listening to it, it took a while. It was 6 minutes into it before they actually started the show.
yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
remember I've listened to the Nerdist a couple of times, and I never liked it that much.
Yeah,
There's a lot of interview shows I don't like.
I didn't seem to care for them that much, but
Yeah. Pointless Dragon. Yeah, I like Night Vale. Night Vale's cool. Took me a while to get into it, though. It's pretty pretentious if you listen to it with the right ears. Like, Night Vale is this sort of fictional world that's narrated by a radio host. And it's just a weird world where stuff is happening, and there's, like, just terror. Like, it's kind of like a horrific world where people are being abducted and killed, but everyone's, like, okay with it for some reason. But I don't know.
I prefer all comedy stuff. Like, if you give me a list of preferred comedy podcasts to listen to, I'll probably check those out.
I mean, comedy is such a broad field. There's stand-up comedy. There's actually, where you're just listening to stand-up comedians do a showcase. There's improv comedy. There's sort of interview shows, and then there's criticism shows, game shows. Doug Loves Movies is one of my favorites, where they just get 4 people in a room and talk about movies, and it's not even any particular movie. They'll just start talking about movies.
Is that the one where we're talking about Ninja Turtles?
No, that was How Did This Get Made? That's where they watch a bad movie and then they go over why it's so bad and how it was so bad.
They were pretty funny.
Yeah, they had a couple of good laughs during that one. So all these podcasts, certainly check them out. They're all very popular. All right, moving along. Number 3 from Little Womanly One. What's the best burger you've ever eaten?
I'm going to have to say The Habit. Have you ever eaten at The Habit?
I have, and since I really only get plain burgers, I only ever get, like, isn't The Habit where we ate after Kamikaze?
No. Did we go to a Habit? I don't think so. The first time I ever went was right down the street here.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the only one I've ever been to, is the one here in Fresno.
I feel like the best burger is like the one my mom makes. It's just a really greasy burger. She makes it on the grill and on the porch at my house, and it's fine. Like, it's a good burger, and it's not too huge. And
Dead purple. What do you know about taste? All right, you cover everything in hot sauce. Everything.
Oh, you know what else is a really good burger? My buddy made a burger. It was, the patty was ground beef that surrounded cheese with hot sauce on it. So it was kind of like a buffalo cheeseburger. And that was really good. I'd like to experience that again, but I guess I can make it pretty easily.
There's a lot of good ones at Red Robin's. But The Habit is something that's, like, really good and cheap.
Yeah, totally. But you know what else I like? When I'm feeling
onions.
If I'm, like, super, super hungry and I just want something fast, there's something that's, like, very satisfying, or not even satisfying, but, like, just fine. It's always going to be fine about a Burger King double cheeseburger. I'm just always going to be able to eat that real quick. Like, it's not a great burger, but
fast food.
I'll just grab it, eat it, and it's done. It's gone.
No,
Five Guys I found to be a little greasy.
Five Guys can be pretty greasy. Yeah.
All right. What else we got here? Number 5. Tell me... Oh, my God. Okay, number 4. I'm sorry. What's the funniest movie moment you've ever seen?
Oh, God. You know how many movies I've seen in my lifetime? You want me to pinpoint one thing in particular that was absolutely hilarious to me? I can't think of anything. Euro Trip. We'll go with Euro Trip. With the French guy on the train. That was, you got your kitty.
French guy on the train doing what?
Was he a French guy? The Scoozy guy. Like, Scoozy. Every time they would go under, into a tunnel, like, the lights would go out, and he would just, there would and then they would come out of the tunnel, and there would be some type of sexual thing or whatever going on. I don't remember all the details of it. I remember the last one, like, they were so scared because there was a huge tunnel coming up, and then he just had like this really evil grin on his face, and then you just hear like all this noise. It's just total darkness and all this noise and screaming, and then they come out of it, and he's just sitting there with no pants on, smoking a cigarette. Pretty funny. To me, that's funny.
I don't remember. The only thing I remember, and this might not have even been Eurotrip. The only thing I remember is someone saying like, "Oh, American tourists are like ruining our country" or something like that. And people are like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then they look out their window, and there's like a Canadian backpacker just straight up taking a shit on the sidewalk, like squatting, and he's got like a big Canadian flag like sticking off his backpack.
Was that in the same movie?
I don't know. It might not have been Eurotrip. It might have been. Oh, I think it might have been like Deuce Bigalow 2. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was just like a dude like shitting on the sidewalk, which is hilarious. But I think the funniest thing I've ever seen in the movie is Hot Rod, the Andy Samberg movie Hot Rod, where he's doing like a montage, like a workout montage. He's trying to get like stronger and better, and he's doing all these different exercises. And he's like running through the woods doing what? Oh, dance. It's called dance fighting, where he's doing like different like karate moves in the middle of like dancing. And he's running forward, and he trips on a log, and he just starts falling down this hill. He falls down that hill for about 120 seconds, like for 2 straight minutes. He's just like fucking tumbling down this hill, like faster. Like it looks like a giant had grabbed him by the leg and just thrown him down a hill. And like, it's so fucking funny to watch him keep falling down this hill. And I can't stop laughing when I see it.
That's great. Now we all have to watch it.
Yeah, please do.
I've never seen it.
Death at a Funeral. Okay, I gotta watch Hot Rod again.
Death at a Funeral? Which version? There's, didn't they redo it? There's an American version, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen Death at a Funeral. I don't know. All that fucking pithy humor of like, oh, my wacky family has to get together. I don't know. It just never really spoke.
I like the guy that's on drugs.
Who gets up on the roof.
Yeah. Naked. It's great.
Yeah, I don't give a... to me, that seems like an easy joke to make.
But his acting's pretty good. Yeah. He's a good actor.
What else? Okay, question number 5. Tell me 10 things that I'd see when I walk in your door.
Right off the back, you would see 2 rats, 2 birds, a snake, and 2 bearded dragons right by the front door.
So that's 7 things. You would probably see a bed, and on the bed there's a cat. Cat who doesn't want to be lifted up. On the bed you would see this cat butt, probably looking at you a little bit. So that's 2. You would see a bust, a plaster bust of me, my shoulders and head. You would see a computer desk.
You would see everything.
Yeah, you honestly would see my entire place. My computer desk with like way too much crap stacked on it. You'd see how dirty my kitchen is. You'd see how dirty my bathroom is. You'd see some crafting material. You'd see the next prop I'm trying to make. You'd see all the things that people have sent me. wherever I've managed to store it.
I don't even know where you've managed to store it.
Yeah,
Like, you didn't have any room to begin with, and now that people send us stuff, like, I don't know where you're putting it.
there's a lot of things under the bed. There's a lot of things, and every drawer is packed with stuff. And I mean, half of it I'm just wearing on my body, like the boots, the games. You'd see my thing full of games. You'd see the crate that I keep my costume in, and then the suitcase that I travel with my costume in. So, I mean, you just basically see the room that I live in. It's a cluster of shit. Like, it's just a big conglomeration of shit. What else do you think people would notice walking into your living space?
That's pretty much it. Just those things. A couch. The kitchen table is... The dining room table is in the front room currently because I'm taking over the dining room and using that to make my costume. So, yeah.
You want to tell anyone what part you're working on, or?
Nothing yet because I'm still waiting. I need to get some plastic. So the Kydex off of my Amazon. And once I start that, I'm going to start on the boots first because those are probably one of the most uncomfortable thing are the old boots, and they're falling apart pretty badly. They've taken a lot of damage. Like that picture with us, that one that Mike Rollerson did.
Yeah.
Like, the picture's pretty badass, but then if you look at the armor on the boots, you can see all the blue coming through the silver because a lot of the silver had came off of the armor.
Yeah.
And it's blue foam underneath, or like a baby blue foam.
Right. Well, that's not the worst color for it to be. At least it's not like yellow.
Oh god, yeah.
So, yeah, you would just see everything. You'd see all of it. You'd see my dick. I mean, honestly, I can't keep anything a secret around here.
Yes, you have one. Congratulations, everybody knows.
That dick. Number 7, do you prefer... Oh, no. Number 6. What's your favorite electronic device? Camera.
My Nikon D5 Mark II and my 7D. I almost updated my operating system because I'd found a way to make this my webcam.
Interesting.
That would have been pretty cool because I've been looking at it on the computer and I'm able to see myself through it on the computer and it looks really cool. But all the programs, you need to update your operating system for the other programs to work.
Oh no.
So I'm still anything to do, like, everything is perfect the way it is, but anything to do whatsoever with broadcasting, I can't do on friggin' $3,000 computer, and I can't do it unless I update the operating system. And I'm not going to, because I care more about my programs than anything else. Yeah. And I know those work, and I looked online at they just released the latest update, which was like 10.11. So now I'm 4 operating systems behind. And it's only been it's been 3 years. Maybe over 3 years. Shit. It's amazing how time goes by so quickly.
I think my favorite electronic device is my actual PC. Even though it gives me so many problems, like, there's nothing better for me than to sit down with a full mouse and keyboard in front of me. Like, having a laptop is nice, having a video game console is nice, but to play a game that is like modern and has like customizable graphics and sound with speakers on either side of me, like, having a PC is so great. And I wish a phone could be like as powerful as it's going to be in 10 years. Because in 10 years, I feel like I'm just going to be able to take my phone and it'll have every available game. And I'll just be able to plug it into a TV, I'll somehow be able to have just a phone instead of an actual PC at a desk. And I'll play anything I want that's just come out. So
I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I think once a process, I think, because our phones now are as powerful as a gaming computer was, even probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And I think in another 10 years, our phones will be on par with fucking visual effects, graphics processing computers,
Maybe. The problem that I have is a phone it doesn't do everything that a computer does.
But it will.
They don't even design it and make it to where you can.
I think eventually they're going to have to keep upgrading things to the point where, it's not just going to be in 10 years, we're not just going to have another iPhone 6 with a super hyper camera on it. I think we're going to have something that's got terabytes of storage on it, and we're going to have something that's got a processor that can do anything, and anything that we'd need it to do. It's going to have video capture.
They'd have to put in an operating system that would be more equivalent to a computer instead of this dumbed down version of everything where it's just apps. I mean, if they did that with the iPad, I would understand having an iPad more if it wasn't a giant iPhone and had an actual operating system on it, like a computer. That would make more sense to have, because then it would be like a little laptop instead of a giant cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, all I think is there's enough competition. Cell phones are making so much money that there's eventually going to be competition to the point where cell phone companies are going to be releasing real computers that are just incredible, like a Raspberry Pi. I think Raspberry Pi is going to end up becoming the new cell phone. It's just going to be a Raspberry Pi with a small screen attached to it.
I don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, except for a Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi is a computer that you can buy for $20 or $30. It's about the size of a Walkman, and it's just got, I think it's got 3 USB ports in it. You can plug in, some sort of visual interface.
Well, it's like a Mac Mini.
Kinda,
those
yeah.
are powerful. I want to get one of those. I was actually, it's funny, instead of updating my operating system, I was actually looking at a Mac Mini. If I just had one of those for my broadcasting stuff and streaming stuff, that would solve everything instead of trying to update my operating system. But those computers, at least for the version I need, was $700, and they're pretty much the exact size of that. So
yeah,
the whole computer.
I think Raspberry Pi is about half that size, and it's not an incredibly powerful computer, but it will run Windows. Yeah, and it's very cheap and very affordable, and people are doing things with them. They're using them as web servers and stuff in their own homes.
That would be good.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what a web server is. It's just a computer that needs to be running all the time. If you can have one that's as big as your router, there's no reason for you not to have a little tiny server rack in your home that's, running your professional website instead of paying someone else to give you space on their server.
Better be pretty good with that Dreamweaver program.
Dreamweaver, I believe you can make me a website. All right. Okay. Number 7. Do you prefer pens or pencils?
Well, that depends on what I'm using it for. For art, obviously, it's going to be a pencil. For just writing, a pen. Maybe like a nice pen. You know what I miss? I miss gel pens.
Really?
Yeah,
They're
I
still
like
gel pens.
those.
I feel like gel pens are no longer marketed as gel pens. They're just pens. Like, they're just nice pens.
They're out there. Just
Like,
gotta find them. I think they're still marketed as gel pens.
like a lot of Pilot pens. I think Pilot is just half ink, half gel now.
Yeah, I do like those pens.
Yeah, I'll prefer. I like drawing with pencil, but if I'm gonna write a letter or something, I've been punished enough in elementary school to to feel guilty every time I use pencil to write something out. Like, I don't like writing in pencil anymore. I like writing in pen.
I used to write everything together. Like, there was no space in between every word. It was just one continuous thing for pages like that. And all the
Yeah.
time the teachers would tell me, and the assistants would tell me, they're like, it's very good, you just need to space out your words. It never comprehended in my mind what that meant.
Spacing's tough. I still have trouble with that, where sometimes I'll put two words too close together, or sometimes I'll make one word where like there'll be an inexplicable gap between two letters. And I don't know, like sometimes I just spaz out and write things wrong.
Yep, I do that all the time.
Yeah. Um I'm gonna write dwarf runes from the Hobbit. Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah, but I think at this point in my life I use pens way more than I use pencils. Number 8. What sound do you love? Sound do I love?
And the things that pop into my head.
I hate it when people chew with their mouth open.
Well, that's
But
not.
I
We're,
no. But there's actually certain things that I really like hearing people eat. I think it's hilarious when people eat really crunchy food. Like, if someone's just like eating like potato chips, that constant like it's fucking hilarious to me. And like biting into an apple, because it always makes that perfect apple biting sound,
it
you know?
does.
And it
See, now I'm
sounds
gonna
like
go
a
get an
cartoon
apple.
sound effect.
God damn it.
Hold on, let me see if I can make the cat purr. I think he's. Oh, I can hear his headphones. Might connect to feedback. I want to make the cat purr. We're gonna do a little sound I love interview with Pretty Big Cat. Can't do a purring. At your head. I'm trying to make cat purring sound.
At first, I thought that was on your crotch. I don't really do anything.
Yeah, I heard it. Sounded good.
It's kind of a soft apple.
Yeah, it's a little softer, but it still gets the point across.
It's big.
Yeah. Wife.
That's a big woman.
There's a big woman. So what do you think is a sound that you love to hear?
Oh man. My camera. The shutter.
Like the camera shutter?
Yeah. It's a satisfying sound.
I like.
Or like lights, strobe lights powering back up after a flash.
Yeah. I like kick drums, and the top string of a bass guitar. Like if you're at a rock show and the rhythm section is just really in the pocket, and like the kicks and the bassist are just like right on time, and you're getting that nice like thudding and like humming together.
That's the best time.
Yeah,
That's when all that stuff actually matters. You never
yeah.
really get that effect out of any type of recordings.
I mean, you can, but it ends up sounding like some other instrument. Like it sounds like the
It's
drummer
blended.
just has some special drum that's making a crazy noise.
It's blended together. When you deal with the live stuff, if it's done correctly, each thing is on its own
Yeah.
track or on its own speaker. So that's why you're getting those sounds independently hitting you at the same time. And it's nice.
It's nice. There's a lot of good, pleasurable sound. I think that's actually why dubstep is so good. Is because
Yes.
dubstep is just working with that. It's working. That's the feature. Like that's what you're listening to, and everything else is kind of composed around it. But it's like before we make any other music, let's make the rhythm, let's make the bass line real, real heavy, and then everything else can kind of go around that. Um, let's see. Military base, artillery, helicopters. Okay. All right. Next up, do you love or hate roller coasters?
I hell.
I like them. I'll go on roller coasters as long as I'm not feeling sick.
Fuck that.
Okay, no roller coasters for Steven. Do you like spending more time alone or more time around people?
The mass majority of my time alone. But I do like to be around people too. So just I need time alone to think.
I think it's like an 80-20 thing for me. Um, I want
80% of the
to,
time I'm alone.
yeah, I want 80% of my time alone, and then I want to just jump into a crowd of people where I can speak to every one of those people for 20% of the time. But after that, I want to go right back home and be alone again for another 80% of the time. And when I say 80-20, I almost mean probably more like 95 and 5. Like, I want to be alone 95% of the time. Sounds like styrofoam.
Kind of tastes like styrofoam.
Bye, Amada. Um, what else? All right, last question is from Kristen. What do you like on your pizzas, burgers, toasts, and steak? Uh, so
Cheese will go on all of those things. Yeah.
that's an interesting. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want it on my steak or my toast, but on my burgers, I just want a plain burger with cheese, ketchup, and mustard. Pizzas, I just want cheese on there. Toast, I like butter and grape jelly. Steak, I like an A1 sauce or nothing. I like a medium rare steak, leaning in more into rare. And if it's not like a prime rib, if it's not served, if it's not meant to be served red, um, then I'll put A1 on it. But you're just going with cheese all the way?
You put cheese on everything.
Cheese on everything.
Why not? But on toast, butter and strawberry jam. Or raspberry. Not grape.
Okay.
Never
Yeah.
grape.
I don't know. Grape. I know what I'm gonna get. Raspberry, strawberry. I feel like it's gonna be different every time. It's gonna be differing levels of like artificial. You know. You got too much apple in your mouth right now. Please don't
Yeah.
barf. Um, Kristen also asks, in a movie theater, do you sit in the front, the middle, or the way back?
There's a sweet spot when it comes to movie theaters.
Oh, here we go.
I always look at the screen, and you have to justify how big the screen is and how big the room is, so you find how close you can sit to it. I don't want to be so close to it that I'm looking up. I don't want to look up at the screen. I want to look level. So you want to find the closest row that you can get to where you can still look at the screen at eye level. And you have to sit in the dead fucking center of that row. There's the sweet spot.
All right. Helen, A1 sauce is more or less a vinegar-based steak sauce that has some molasses and some other spices in it, but it's mostly vinegar. It's just kind of a tangy steak sauce. I think in a movie theater, what I look for is a seat with a bar in front of it, a handrail where I can put my feet up on it.
That's always nice too.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the dead center, but that it's typically kind of towards the center. There will be 20 rows of seats from the screen up, and then there will be a walkway, and then there will be a guardrail, and then there will be 20 more rows of seats. So I'll be in that bottom of the top 20 rows with my feet on the guardrail.
Yeah, I usually just wait for people to like come sit down, put the armrest down, and then I'll just sneak my feet up onto each armrest.
Yeah, I don't
You
like
got
doing
it,
it.
but you got to do it like, you got to just sneak them in there and gently put your feet down. You can't just like throw your feet up there and then you kick the armrest and they're like, "What the fuck?" and they turn around and look and see your feet up on there. You just got to sneak them in so they just don't know you're there, molesting their chair with your feet.
They know. They know you're doing it.
They don't know.
They always know. I always know when someone's behind me trying to get sneaky with the footsmanship.
Oh yeah.
There's always some asshole too. It's always like a dad with like a couple like 7 or 8-year-old kids who's like kind of a sports fan jock asshole sitting behind me, and he wants to like put his feet up on my seat because I'm sitting in front of him.
It's not that. It's just we're like people are big guys and we need to spread out. I don't know. At least that's my opinion.
We should go to a movie at the Vista Theater in LA.
I'm uncomfortable. The what's theater?
It's called the Vista Theater, and it's a single theater in a building. And they can only play one movie at a time. And you sit in this movie theater seat. The next seat in front of you is literally 4 feet away.
What am I going to put my feet up on?
There's nothing. You can't put your feet up on anything. You can just stretch your legs out as far as you want. And there's still 2 feet for people to like walk by you.
The theaters that they changed all the seatings in Riverbank, where they're all lounge chairs. Like of course, you pay like $10 to go see a movie in there, but they're just all red lounge chairs, and you can lay back. Little footrest pops up. You can lay back, and it has the tray swivels out over you for your food and stuff. It's pretty neat. Do you like
Last question. We're gonna give a 1-word answer, and then we're gonna head off until 6 o'clock. Shoes: Nike, New Balance, or Adidas? Nike. I am also a Nike. All right. So with that, we are going to close down questions, and we are heading off into the wild blue yonder until 6 p.m. tonight, where we'll be broadcasting once again.
Yay!
We hope to see you there. Everyone have a good afternoon. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, bye!
Bye.